Hi, it's Rich from Planet PE and thank you for watching today's video. So today we're going to break it up into small quick chunks and we're going to focus mainly today on planes of movement. So if you haven't already subscribed, please make sure you check out the button, click the subscribe and also like the videos and follow me on Twitter and on Instagram so you don't miss out on any content in the future. So let's get cracking. So what is a plane? So a plane is really simply just direction of movement. So however we move, no matter what sort of action we're doing in sport, we can move in three real directions. I can move forwards and backwards, I can move sideways, and I can twist a bit. So every movement that we do is either a combination or one movement of forwards and back, side to side, all going a bit twisty. So if you think about some of the examples that you're seeing here, we've got a gymnast who's moving around and they are all working on those different planes of movement. So there's going to be times where an arm goes out to the side, there's going to be times where they move forwards or move backwards, and there's times where they're going to have some sort of rotation. So that's all we mean by a plane. Now what we need to understand is, well, which plane is which? And that's the first thing that we need to think about. So in your GCSE exam, you'll be asked to potentially give an example of a plane with an example of a movement that you might see. So if we're thinking about any movement which is going to move forwards or backwards, so normally we're thinking about flexion and extension here. So if a movement is flexion or extension, it works on what we call a sagittal plane. Now a sagittal plane is where your body is divided in a left and a right. So if I think about having my hands, I can have a left and a right. Now the way that I get some of my students to think about it is that if I keep my hands together, I can move forwards or I can move backwards, okay? That is the plane of movement, the direction of movement that we're talking about. We've then got another plane that we can move on, which is us going to be moving sideways. Now, it's not a case of me moving sideways like a crab. It's really simply the fact that we're thinking about adduction or abduction. So if I'm going to abduct or I'm going to adduct. Okay, now those sort of movements are going to be a goalkeeper saving a shot. It's going to be somebody preparing for a cartwheel. It's going to be somebody maybe in tennis thinking about hitting a forehand where their arm moves out to the side. Now that plane of movement is what we call a frontal plane. So a frontal plane means that we are dividing the body in half again, but instead of it being side to side, we go divide a front and a back. So again, if I think about having my hands as a front and a back, if I move them sideways, it means that I'm going to move left or right. Okay, so this idea of abduction and adduction moves on a frontal plane. The third one is kind of any sort of twisting action. So again, if I'm going to be thinking about moving around, I'm going to be twisting, maybe I'm throwing, and there's going to be sort of that type of movement, that is what we call a transverse plane. So again, we're going to be dividing the body exactly in half, not side to side this time, not front to back, but we're thinking about top and bottom. So I'm going to have a top half and a bottom half. Well, the way they're going to move is a bit of a twisting action. So again, think about our gymnast. They might move forwards and backwards with flexion and extension. They might move abduction and adduction, but they're also going to have some sort of twisting force. So that really, in a quick nutshell, is your planes of motion. So we've got a sagittal plane, a transverse plane, and a frontal plane. Keep watching some of the videos because next time we're going to talk about axes of movement because they go with planes. So that's why we talk about planes and axes together. Thanks for watching, keep liking, look through the old videos, and if you've got any mock exams coming up, put the dates in the comments because I will do some live sessions to try and help you get the best grade you can. Hopefully that's under 3 minutes.